One. Are we recording?
I
Look at
hate
that.
every single time. Every single
What? It's
fucking.
wonderful. What are you talking about?
All right.
Welcome everyone to episode 5
Question mark?
on the Boyz podcast as we're chilling like villains. First off, we got to do an intro. We got a special guest, Devin, or wait, let me get the name right because
It's Squirt Locker.
the Squirt Locker is visiting us. Do you want to do a quick little intro, bud? Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, I've known, this is, I think, my first time really talking to bees. And yeah, Dalton, known for a few years, and Lucas and I go way, way back. Me and Big Luco.
Hell yeah.
Just happy to be
Hell
here.
yeah. The boy, the man, the myth, the legend.
I think the week has been chaotic for me here in the good old Europe. For several reasons, but I'm curious to hear how's the States, everybody. I know, Big Luca, you're out living your best life.
I'm living in North Carolina, but right now I'm doing some training down in Florida, which is phenomenal. Like, the weather is just so nice right now.
Mm-hmm.
It gets away from the cold of the east, and I've been back here. I know you guys already know, but for the people that don't, I was here like 8 years ago, and it's nostalgic to go back to a place you lived after 8 years. Haven't been there for 8 years, so it's like driving down the streets. You know, you're seeing stuff. You're like, oh, I remember this. I remember this.
Was it the same when you went to Wichita Falls?
No, because I was like in a blur.
It never changes there.
Yeah, when I was in Wichita Falls for the first time for the 1 month, I was like just dazed of like what the hell is going on.
Way better going back though, am I right?
Yeah, going back and being like an actual human.
Yeah, life changing. Like, this is not that bad, you know. It's not like I'm in prison anymore.
Yeah, I need to go to the beach probably tomorrow or something. Get at the beach.
Yeah, because you should be good to go, right? You have all day. Where are you staying at? Are you staying downtown in the good old Destin, or are you doing it in the Holiday Express?
I'm in Hilton. I'm at a Hilton.
Oh, Hilton.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got to pick
okay, Niceville. Oh, nice.
So, got to get my Hilton Honors points for free.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Like a $30 Uber back. It's not bad.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, States is great. COVID's not a
How's
thing.
Texas?
COVID's not a thing. We're about to lift everything.
Oh.
Like no masks whatsoever at work, which is great, even though you don't wear it anyways. Because when you're teaching, you don't have to wear it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Devin, what about you over there on the... Man. What about you over there on the shit show?
Yeah, DC is the complete opposite, man. I love talking to like you guys and hearing like, yeah, we're about to lift masks. Like, we've been in person every day. It's like PCS here September of 2020, and I've been in the office about 5 times. So I just work from home all the time in the military. Something I never thought I would do in my fucking life. And yeah, it's like so much more strict here. Pentagon has like, can't be over 50%. So their numbers are capped, and they actually count people and keep track. And they're like, hey, you came in today, we were like 2 people over, so don't come in again tomorrow.
How's base bass? How's bass base? Base bass. Base bass bass base.
She's good. She's actually super cool. It was obviously a big point of contention for me. I was like, oh man, like the general pop of the Air Force seems pretty split on this lady. She's either like real cool and awesome, or like you absolutely hate her. And I'm here to report that I thought she was pretty cool. So.
I've thought she's pretty cool for what she's like done, and you know the things I've watched that she's actually put out there. Like,
big ticket thing for a lot of people is like, she stayed in Ramstein for X amount of years.
Oh,
like,
yeah. And then she took that away from everyone.
That sounds like jealousy. That sounds like jealousy to me.
And then she changed all the rules, so you can't go like Korea overseas. What?
That's a little sad, and that's
the guy that's been at it for like 8 years. So
I know.
That's a point of contention. She changed that rule, right?
Yeah. It's her.
I was working from home. Like,
yeah,
throughout like a normal work day, when you're at work, right? You're like working mostly through the day. are you actually working mostly through the day at home, or do you like fuck off for a good half?
Dude, the first, like, not gonna lie, like, before we even started this, before we started recording, Beasley mentioned like ADHD, like most EOD guys. So I am diagnosed ADHD. So at first it was a fucking struggle, man. Like I'd be at home and be like sick, like this fucking show just came out. I'm gonna put this on, and then I'm sitting there trying to work and just distracted like half the day, right? So it took like definitely took some getting used to, but after like 3 or 4 months of working at it and like trying different things, you kind of get in a rhythm. And so now it's like I wake up, I do like an hour of homework before school, then I get school homework before work, and then get like an hour in to stretch or go for a run or do a little bit of exercise, get some lunch, and then really it's like all work based, which I think is how it is anyways. Like in an EOD shop, there's either like you have a really good shop culture and it's like Fridays, right? Like we're getting like clean up and open the bar and let's drink and let's do all this stuff. Like we accomplished a lot of our work, which is sick. Or you go to a shop that's like, you guys screw off. You know, I see you screwing off for 2 hours a day. Like we don't need to not work Fridays, but it's like that's everywhere. So instead of having that like, hey, we're gonna screw around between like tasks throughout the day, it's like, hey, I'm gonna do exactly what I need to do, and as soon as I finish it, I don't have another meeting for like 2 hours, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna clean the house. I'm gonna go to the gym again. So
Hell yeah.
it's been awesome. Like I don't think I want to go back to an office ever.
I love that. Love that. There's an army captain there now in DC, that I was talking to for a while. So if you ever see her, you know, put in a good word for your boy again.
Well, so like to your point though, Devin, I think it's kind of important to like I think there needs to be a balance because like for me, like administrative bullshit, I actually prefer to do it at my house for like half a day or like whatever, or like give me one day a week where I'm at home because I love EOD guys and I love bullshitting, but I can't get shit done because every 10 minutes someone else is coming in shooting me with like Nerf guns are a big thing right now, which is fucking wonderful. But at the same time, you're just like, I got my gun ready on the side, ready for the defense mode. But like, I'm trying to like, hey, I gotta fucking write this EPR, and I can't focus because
I can't cross train to you guys. I would be fucking around way too much.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. Like, there's dudes rolling around the hallways on scooters and right, like stopping in offices and distracting like each other, and
exactly.
it's fun. No, I get it though. Like that's what I think Lucas and I were talking a few weeks ago about. Like, what would a real schedule be like? Like, if you took over a flight, what would you do? And I was telling him, I was like, dude, like really, like 8 to 3 and still work out in that time, but like actually focus on work more. And then yeah, like one day a week, go home and do the CBTs, the EPRs on your personal computer or desktop anywhere. Yeah, and like you can get shit done way faster on commercial Wi-Fi, right? Like the admin.
Exactly.
Or building training classes. Go home and build them on a PowerPoint on your fucking desktop, right?
Well, it's a great point you bring up because the fucking we got lucky. We have like 70% of the dudes right now have a new computer. Like I'm one of them, and that has been game changing for me. Like we had fucking 7-year laptops, and I would be like Adobe, and I would just sit there. All right, let's go fucking play Nerf for fucking 4 hours because that Adobe isn't opening. And so now I'm like Adobe, and so. But I like during COVID, I had all of like the virtual Air Force tunneling on my main gaming PC. And so I was getting shit done. I would be done with all my work in like 3 hours. And then I'm like, cool, I'll do whatever I want. So that's interesting.
Nice.
There should be a balance. There needs to be a balance. I think there should be flexibility for people to like have the option to do a little bit of teleworking as long as they're getting shit done. And you got to be careful.
Cool to have like a single day, like say Wednesday, like in the middle of the week, or like a Tuesday or something, where it's like, all right, it's an administrative day. Everyone go home, take care of all your administrative shit on a network that's faster on your own PC, and then because you already on like Monday, you already had a meeting, said, hey, okay, we need to knock this out this week, or this is our goal, and then you take care of it on your free time. Well, not free time, but at home in your comfort of your home on a faster internet, and then come back to work on Thursday and like turn it in essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody
would
has
work
their
for
own band. Everyone has their own bandwidth too, right? So it's like I think about some of the places I've been stationed where I live like decently far from base, and it's like spend time driving in, and then you have the gym which you're going to, and then you have to like shower and change, right? Like all that stuff, either back and forth at a gym or maybe your shop has a nice gym, right? And so it's just all like you're gonna get tired from that whether you realize it or not. So it's like, hey, what if we instead of the out, driving in 30 minutes and driving back 30 minutes, and that's an hour right there. Like that's an hour you could be working at home or relaxing,
Exactly.
and then you get to work at 9, right?
Yep.
So
I think there'll be a balance. I think this is that would be the biggest thing that comes from COVID. It's like not even just like the military, but like the job opportunities to go and just telework now are outstanding because then companies don't have to pay for fucking office space and whatever. And you just, hey, I'll buy you a new laptop every 3 years and you can work wherever you want. Here's your tasks. You just have a shop manager and then they just task you out.
Well, also
Here's your
look at it.
weekly
Who was it?
tasks.
Who was it? Norway, Sweden, Finland. One of those countries who's moving to a 4-day work week. You guys see all that?
yeah, I think it was Norway.
Yeah. That's super sick. I love it. Love to see
I'm
it.
all about.
And I mean, Japan has napping hours. Like, I'm all about that too. 2 o'clock.
We
I'll
had
take
at Charleston, we had a health team attached to us. So like a doctor, like our PCM, our physical therapist, all that stuff. And we had a nutritionist, and they were straight up like, even the hours you guys work and you're like expected to work out for 2 hours in this window, like you should definitely be like, they compared it to other shops on base and flights on base, and they were like, you guys should be taking a nap, like at least one nap, like an hour a day. And of course leadership was like, yeah, no, not gonna happen.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. But the Japanese, it was funny when I lived. So I was actually going to bring up the topic I was going to bring up was the concept of living overseas as an American. I was going to kind of hear everyone's opinion of that. But real quick on that, because you're talking about the Japanese, I live in Japan. And so like the Japanese would just take naps. You would just see them on the side of the road. And whenever they're tired, they are allowed to take a nap. But they're very efficient workers. And they always get their tasks done for the day. So at the same time, like I was initially like, "Oh, this is fucked up. Like they're not working."
Wow.
Kind of like,
wow.
well, you know what I mean? Well, okay, calm down. We'll get on Germany here in a little bit. We can really talk about the hard worker society. And then, but it is cool. But like once I learned their culture and understand where it was coming from, it was like, okay, cool. Like they did all their tasks for the day. So yeah, you want to take a lunch? They'll eat their lunch and they'll take a nap in their car. I'm like whatever.
Yeah. So what about Germany? What's so bad about Germany?
What is great about Germany?
Who?
Beer.
Beer.
Beer's pretty good.
Food.
Belgium's got better beer.
Belgium does have better beer. I hate to burst the
Okay,
German
so that's
bubble.
like North Carolina to Tennessee for you, Lucas. That's not that bad. Next door.
It is. No, I mean, I'm not trying to bash on Germany, but there's a lot of bureaucracy. I think America has some bureaucracy. I will say that German bureaucracy has completely made me mind-numbingly just... You can't think for yourself. And anytime there's a checklist, just take that checklist and then add like 30 more steps to it because they forget to put all the other steps in that checklist.
I thought Germans were supposed to be very, organized. Like thought out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay.
Let me give you a little example. All right, I'll give you a little rundown. One might say you need an international driver's license. Simple thing. In America, you go online, you go to whatever your insurance company is.
Or you go AAA, it's $25.
$25, boop, 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 international driver's license, shipped to you. Oh, that's cool. Maybe I should have fucking done that because Germany, it's not remotely that fucking easy. First, you go to the fucking office that is like a cul-de-sac, like little fucking corner thing in the middle of town, and you have to go to the one designated per the place that you live in, and if you don't know which one you're assigned to, good luck, because you just have to go in all of them and find out where the fuck that is. So then you go find out where you're actually assigned to, and then you go into them, and you're like, hey, I would like to get an international driver's license. Here's my passport, like, photo, and here's my driver's license. And they're like, here's the other paperwork you did not bring from base and all this other shit. Okay, cool. I go to on base. Cool. I go to base. Hey, I need this paperwork. Well, you need to actually go back there and get the paperwork from them to then authorize us to make you the paperwork, because it's German. So then I go back to them and I say, I need this paperwork to get that, and then I drive back and I give them that paperwork. Cool. Then I go in and I'm like, hey, I got €20. It's a $12 fucking thing. Oh, no, we don't give change back here. So we don't maintain. You have to bring an exact change. And I see it in the fucking behind her fucking desk. There's a fucking plethora of fucking money. But no, I bring in €20.
Those German francs, right? All right.
No, this is euro. And I'm like, here's my €20. Can I please have my? And she's like, no, you need the exact euro, €13 and 20 cents or some shit. And you have to go and fucking collect this up and then bring it in. It's just fucking bureaucracy, man. Like, that's like 5 trips for me to get a fucking international driver's license.
So
and
now
you can't do it online. Heaven forbid you try to do it online.
Well, now I'm curious because Lucas just left Germany. How was your experience with that?
Or did you even get one?
No, I got one. I had to. The reason I got it, so it's like, I don't know if you know, not all countries require a international driver's license. So you kind of need to, like, and no one tells you either. You could book a rental car and then show up at the airport and go to pick up a rental car, like, where's your international driver's license? And you're like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just a tourist. I don't need a driver's license for your country. They're like, sorry, we can't rent a car for you. And then now you're SOL because you booked an Airbnb like an hour from the airport.
I mean, but most of us have lived in England too, and England was way easier than that.
Spain is a big one that they will reject you at the airport. But I had to go to. So I did mine like probably 3.5 years ago, so it was a little hazy. But I had to go into town like 30 minutes away, and I had my passport photo and all that stuff ready. And I think my town actually allowed us to pay with card. So
whoa, you hit technology in your town?
Yeah, which is not common because at restaurants in Germany, the majority of restaurants take cash only. Even through COVID, even through all of it, they didn't care. They're like, no, we don't have a card machine. What are you talking about? Why would we have a card machine? You don't carry cash? I'm like, no, it's.
I mean, it's just.
Why
it's
would
just.
I have cash on me?
That's just so different because, like, most of us lived in England, and England is all contactless.
Yeah, they do tap pay, Apple Pay everywhere you go.
Yep. Everywhere you go.
Not Germany.
Just light years
Like,
of England, especially 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
I mean, they're so far behind though because they've had to pay so much money back because of the world wars and everything.
That must be it.
I don't know. I feel like they're just happy with the way they are.
Yeah. Every time I travel around, like countries around Germany, their all those countries around Germany don't like the way that Germans run their country. As far as like their technology is behind, all of it. It's like, yeah, they're embarrassment.
Well, and the staring. Can we talk about the staring a little bit? Have everyone been to Germany? Have you just been stared at? Just stared at?
I was only there for a little bit. I was mainly at Lucas's house whenever I went.
Yeah. No, overall Germany is pretty good. It's not bad at all. It's just that there's like a couple pet peeves of mine being a, I guess, an American there.
But Prague, though. Fuck, Prague. Ugh. Love Prague. Friendsgiving.
Yeah, Czech Republic's good
Prague's
country.
giving.
Italy's pretty awesome. I don't have any gripes. I've heard people that lived in Italy that they're like really lazy people. Like, tomorrow. We'll get to it tomorrow.
Bitty boppity.
Like,
Ah.
yeah. Oh, tomorrow.
I think the thing we forget when we like think about this stuff too, like the general consensus of laziness is like, this is like super stuck up in a DoD aspect, but like Air Force bases are in the middle of nowhere, not like Army middle of nowhere, right? But like usually they're in the middle of nowhere. They're not like in a city or anything. So we're seeing like the Kansas of these countries, and we expect people to be like moving fast and doing.
Yeah,
shit,
we
right?
expect
It's
them to
like,
do New York time.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's true. And I think the biggest thing that I have learned in Germany, and I do appreciate a lot, is that they work to live instead of live to work. And I think that's like an amazing like concept that they kind of like have seen comparatively to like sometimes Americans, like all we know is work, 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 work. And I don't know which is the right answer, but then I really do appreciate it. Like they don't have Sundays. Sundays is, you can't do nothing on Sundays for the most part. Big cities, it's a big city, so it doesn't matter. You can still go. But like in Germany, Sundays everything's closed and it's about the family. And I've become accustomed to that. I actually enjoy it. It's a very relaxing day. I can do meal prep. I can do whatever I want. It's my day at my house. So that is something I've actually would say I've taken a lot from the German culture, and I actually really appreciate their sense of family. Once you get in their family, like they're super welcoming and warm. So overall, Germany's pretty good. I just have my little bit of gripes and bitches and complaints
I mean,
about
I
bureaucracy.
feel like the family part, that was the same in England. Like you're good friends with your neighbors. Like they're very like welcoming and helping. I mean, like Lucas and Devin, you guys were in England. Like how was that for you guys? Like did you guys have the same experience? Like I mean, I love the English. I had no problems with them when I was there. COVID sucks. Really put a damper on that, but
I lived in like
I
an
loved it.
American neighborhood, I guess you would say. Like it was pretty close to the base, and all the people there were pretty much Americans. So I don't really have that like the hospitality of that neighborhoodly feel. But I'm like the opposite of what B's is saying for like the Sunday thing, because I grew up in a 24-hour city in Vegas. Nothing's ever closed. Nothing, no matter what day of the week it is, and you can go at any time to any place to get whatever you need. So when I moved over there, and I was like, everything's closed on Sunday midday. I'm like, what the hell? Or if I go to get a dinner after 7 p.m., I'm like, what do you mean you're closing? I'm just trying to eat right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a huge, upset for me when I first started moving overseas.
Yeah. Devin, thoughts?
Kind of same with Lucas. Obviously grew up in like a much smaller town where Lucas is at right now. So it didn't really bother me. It was kind of the same stuff. The people were awesome. Like I was just introduced to so much stuff. It was funny because it was like I grew up super poor, right? So all my like rich friends went to like cotillion and like finishing classes and shit like that. So it was funny to move to England and like all my friends, people were still like really good friends with. They're like, why aren't you like holding your silverware like this? Like it's just normal in England, even in like the rural part we're in. They're like, what are you doing? Like, I remember the first Sunday roast we ever went to.
Oh, Sunday roast.
They hold their forks backwards and they scoop like things on the fork, like upside down, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Like meat, and they eat it like that. And they were making fun of me for holding the fork regular and like scooping stuff on it. And I was like, okay, let me just eat my soup. So sorry, guys. I took the spoon upside down and like dipped it in the soup. And I was like, how does this make any sense? So it was little stuff like that. And then, of course, like, I'm sure you saw the same thing, Dalton, and I know Lucas did, is like, once you live over there for so long, like, now you come back to America and you're like, no, that's a way better way of doing it. Like, it just makes sense. Like, it, I guess, like, feels better, especially, like, clothing, right? Like,
right.
I grew up dressed in, like, shit and go out to England and everybody dresses, like, pretty nice and cares about their hair. Yeah. That was the biggest thing for me, was hair. Like, dude's hair in England. Super serious about their hair.
100%. I had a great barber in Cambridge.
Yeah,
great barber.
Awesome. That's probably the best barber I've ever been to was in England.
Yep.
And now I'm like, I'm so stuck in like finding a really good barbershop. So every time I move, it's like I have to find a new barbershop, and it's pretty upsetting to have to like go on this hunt because I like last place I lived. You find your regular one, cool. You're seeing it every month, and now you got to go on this voyage to find a new barbershop, and then you go somewhere and they like mess it up. You're like, oh, I'm not coming here, and then you go somewhere else, and you go somewhere else. And you just try to find that. That's probably one of my biggest gripes about moving PCSing.
There's no winning either because like you're kind of more rural, right? So like you probably have a very limited number of choices as well. Like you're like, oh man, like if I find a good barber, they might be far away. And then I'm in the city, I can't win. Like there's too many choices, and it took me, 18 months to find a barber I liked. And the first barber I went to in this fucking city, $100 a haircut, and I was like, dude, I'll try it. Like,
was it good though?
Was
it good?
I was like, not as good as Cambridge. So
yeah, right. It's I don't know. I'm still looking for my barber here in Texas, and I've had to go to Sports Clips, and I want to hurt myself.
That's a dangerous game. Baby.
It is super dangerous because all of them, like, they don't do it. They can't. you'll have one good haircut at one barber, and the next time you go back to them, it's just like, fuck, you fucked this up.
It's just that, boys, the key is just to not get a haircut. And then you don't have to worry about it.
That's where I'm at.
Shave my head. And I was just doing haircuts.
Style is definitely a big thing in Europe in general. I've noticed, and I'm trying to get better at it. I still haven't figured it out. But yeah, the British are really good at it. I know the Germans, especially when you go in the bigger cities, they're all about it. The haircuts, everything, and it's definitely something I gotta work on still. And I've lived here 3 years.
Surprised you haven't bleached your hair yet to fit in.
Oh,
What's the general like shop culture like there, Bees? Like, so when Lucas and I got to England and Dalton was like, I think that's how Dalton and I became such like really good friends, is like Dalton was living in Cambridge when I met him, and I was like, you get it. Like, you can't just stay on base all the time, right? And so we saw this, like, when we got to England, Lucas and I and Tyler, like, it was, we're going to Scotland every weekend, and